What's up, esoteric family? Back at you with another breakdown. Today's breakdown will be from Matthew 14, 22 through 33. This section of the scripture chronicles one of Jesus' disciples, Peter, walking on water. So, at this point in the timeline of Jesus, he and his disciples have been traveling from town to town, spreading spirituality and Christ consciousness. Now, I need to clear something up. This was brought to my attention, and I need everyone to understand this. I am decoding the Bible, so it's only natural that I use terms that are relevant to the Bible. So when I use the word Christ, I am talking about higher level of consciousness. I am not talking about religion's use of the word. Whatever religion you might be in, you have to translate it to fit you. You can call it enlightenment, bliss, samadhi, taqwa, whatever. Extrapolate it to whatever works best for you. I don't care if you're Christian, Buddhist, or Muslim, or whatever. That doesn't matter. Please don't get so technical that you miss the message of the story. I'm not supporting any religion. Please understand that. I am not a religious person. I'm a person on a spiritual journey. There's a huge difference between the two, okay? So now that I'm done with that, let's get back to what I'm saying. So in this particular section, they had just got done feeding the 5,000. I'm sure everybody remembers that story. And that particular sermon had just concluded, and they were about to depart and go to another town. So Jesus puts his disciples on a boat to go before him because, as he does many times in the text, he wants to meditate and pray. So he wants to be alone. Later, in the middle of the night, he goes to be with his disciples, and they are on a boat in the middle of the water. They see a figure coming close and they get scared. So to prove who he is, who he says he is, Peter asked Jesus, "In order to prove it is you, Master, allow me to walk on water and meet you on the water." So that's the backdrop of the story, but let us break it down. So without further delay, let's get into it. Matthew 14, 22 to 33. Okay. And straight away, Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship. Constrained means he rushed them. He was in a hurry. And to go before him into the other side while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. Now, esoterically, what you have to understand is that the disciples represent the 12 aspects of lower consciousness. I'm not going to go deep into that in this video, but the 12 disciples represents the 12 ages of the zodiac. That is why each disciple's personalities were so different, but that's for another video. So anyway, in this text, higher consciousness, Christ consciousness, separates itself from lower consciousness. Jesus separated himself so that he could be alone to connect with Christ consciousness within. Because to commune with consciousness, you cannot live in the material world. You must live in the spiritual world. So Jesus goes up into the mountain. Now, what you will find in the Bible is that anytime someone goes up into the mountain, it is a reference to connecting with higher consciousness. Moses goes up into the mountain to get the 10 commandments. Abraham goes up to the mountain to make a sacrifice, etc. In this section of text, Jesus goes up in the mountain to meditate to connect with Christ consciousness. Let's continue. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a spirit," and they cried out for fear. Now, in this text, the ship represents your physical body, and the disciples are your lower consciousness, and the sea and the wind are your troubles. The sea and the wind are your life stress. Bank account is low, troubles at home, struggling at school, relationships, whatever. So this is the thing. When you do not understand or know who you are, just like the ship, the storms of life will toss you around, and the wind will be contrary. Contrary means going against you. And just like the disciples in the text, when you are in the midst of the storm, you do not know where your help is going to come from. You are in constant state of fear, and they couldn't even recognize Jesus coming to be with them. All right, so let's read on. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, "Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water." And he said, "Come." And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Now, you are in the midst of all hell. The storms and winds are all around you. And finally, you realize where your help is coming from. So you start walking in faith. Lord, thank you for my help. My help cometh from the Creator. I have more than I could spend. I thank you for everything. This is what this part of the text talks about. It's teaching you to rely only on God. No matter what the problems you have, no matter how bad the storms are, if you turn your complete attention on God, He will start to pull you through. You will begin to walk on water. What you got to realize is that nothing is bigger or stronger than God. So when you pay more attention to your problems than God, you are saying the storm and the wind, your issues, are stronger than God, the creator of everything. So for a brief moment, Peter is totally focused on the Christ, the solution. But let's see what happens next. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and began to sink. He cried, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, "O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?" And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they were in the ship and came and worshipped him, saying, "Of a truth thou art the Son of God." Now, Peter did what all of us have done our whole lives, me included. We give the external problems more power than the internal creator. Instead of focusing on Christ, Peter lost focus and started worrying about the problems. And we do the same thing all the time. Bank account is low. You can see no way out of it. Like, you got to pay this bill. So instead of having faith that God is the source of everything, we sit there and stress and fear about how we're going to figure this out. Yeah, it sounds good, to stand still, but that's not how life really works. I need some money. I got to figure this out. I got to make some moves. We all do it. Please understand this. Anything you give your emotional energy to externally will ultimately become your master. The biggest mistake you can make is to allow your inner self to be determined by external circumstances. This is what you must understand. Write this down. When you are in trouble of any kind, it means that for that particular time and moment, your knowledge of God is inadequate. Recovery means your knowledge of God has now become clear. God is love. So when you love God more than your problem, then your problems will go away. Nothing is bigger than God. This is what happened when Jesus reached out his hand and pulled up Peter. Peter's knowledge that God is bigger than any problem had left him in the moment, and he was about to drown. Then the Christ pulled him up and everything became clear. These verses are teaching us how to overcome fear and stresses of life. I keep telling you guys, the Bible is a book on consciousness. Do you know what some of the most common used phrases are in the Bible? It's fear not, do not fear, be not afraid. Those are some of the most common used words in the Bible because fear is the killer of faith. Fear is the ego's tool to control you. Faith is the confidence that fear is a lie. Always remember, nothing is bigger than God. Wow. So I think we're going to stop there. I mean, I'm starting to rant. But those are some powerful verses. I hope it broke it down to a level of understanding so that you are able to extract the lesson. And once again, the aim of this channel is to break down scripture so that we can use and apply the lessons in our everyday lives today. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all I'm trying to give you. Thanks for watching. Please share and help us continue to grow. And until we meet again, stay beyond blessed.